Hello friends, Lightman here. Today I'm going to tell you about my Nicol Bolas Commander deck. This deck is part of 2 cycles of decks I'm in the process of building. The first, and what got me into Commander, is my Commander dual decks. My first Commander deck was Karn Silver Golem. I decided, well, if I'm going to try a restrictive format, why not build the most restrictive deck possible? An artifact deck. I'll show you that one a little later. While building Karn, I noticed you could have both the legendary creature Karn Silver Golem and the planeswalker Karn Liberated in play without triggering the legend rule or the planeswalker rule, and started looking for other creatures that became planeswalkers. I came up with 2, Venser Shaper Savant and Venser the Sojourner. Unfortunately, the creature is mono blue and the walker is blue-white, so no go. The only other option was the focus of this deck and Karn's dual deck opponent, Nicol Bolas. After building Nick here, I decided, well, I have 1 Elder Dragon Commander belt, might as well go with the other 4 and go for a full Elder Dragon Highlander suite. Well, enough tangents, let's get into the deck. First, let's take a look at my creatures, starting with my commander, Nicol Bolas. While not the best Grixis-colored legend, he is the strongest Elder Dragon and has a Planeswalker form, which are 2 of the prerequisites I had while selecting him. There are few things as satisfying in Commander, at least to me, as attacking 1 player with Nicol Bolas Elder Dragon, ultimating Nicol Bolas Planeswalker on a 2nd, and casting Cruel Ultimatum on a 3rd, returning Evil Twin or Phyrexian Jester to play and killing another commander. It happened once, I swear. Well, let's start off the non-commander creatures with artifacts and lands? Huh? Well, the man lands and key runes play multiple roles in this deck, like many cards, as any good tools of an Elder Dragon should. First, and obviously, they're mana sources, and for the most part mana fixing, useful as this deck has many double and triple colored mana symbol spells. Second, they're creatures that are immune to sorcery speed removal, unless I activate them to block that turn. And they have evasion. Creeping Tar Pit and Dimir Keyrune are unblockable, Fairy Conclave has flying. They also have combat tricks. First Strike on Rakdos Keyrune and get to encampment, and the Lava Crawl Reaches is pumpable. Third, and least important, they're mana sinks. This is a mostly tap-out control deck, so utilizing mana to the best of my ability is key. Well, I do have 3 actual creatures, though they're actually closer to removal spells. Well, the Phyrexian Revoker is an early play and deals with annoying commanders and planeswalkers. I could have used Pithing Needle, but I can transmute for the Revoker. More on that a little bit later. Evil Twin deals with shrouded and hexproof legends, like Autumn Willow, Geisha Safe Draft, or a commander using the legend rule. Or he's just the best enemy creature at the time. Lastly, the Phyrexian Jester deals with creatures that are too big to fireball or infect. Again, I'll get to that later. Now, let's take a look at the actual threats in this deck, the Planeswalkers. First, as part of the theme of the deck, and a potential win condition in his own right, we have Nicol Bolas Planeswalker. All 3 abilities are used regularly, from mind-controlling the biggest creature to protect him, to disrupting mana bases and assassinating other planeswalkers. Bolas is a house. Oh yeah, his ultimate ability to basically become his creature form with Annihilator 7 for a turn is Bounce. Next, we have the 2 removal spell planeswalkers, Chandra Nalaar and Liliana of the Veil. In both cases, the +1 is just there if I have no target for their 2nd ability. Unless I'm already uber winning, the ultimates aren't really worth building up to, as the other forms of these 2 planeswalkers are better. Liliana Vess and Jace Beleren are basically a two-headed planeswalker that starts with 8 loyalty and has the following abilities. +3. Target player discards a card, then all players draw a card. +0. Draw a card, then target player discards a card. Or, search for a card, put it in your hand, everyone else draws a card. -3. Demonic Tutor. -18. Mill target player for 20, then animate all dead creatures under your control. Finally, Soren Markov is a win condition and removal. His +2 ability helps kill creatures and planeswalkers. Remember, you can redirect his damage to planeswalkers. His -3 is obscene in Commander, and sets up with a kill with Chandra Nalar's ultimate, or any of the many fireballs. See them later. His ultimate, while powerful, is very situational. You need a good minion to control. Next, we have the control spell. Cyclonic Rift, Recoil, and Capsize are there to clear the way for Bolas, and, in Capsize's case, to protect my resources by countering a targeted removal spell. Undermine and Countersquall are there to punish insolence, damaging the player for casting a spell I don't like. Suffocating Blast is a 2-for-1, big theme in this deck, countering a threat and pinging a utility creature. Fuel for the Cause is a win more spell, stopping a spell, and adding a counter to up to 6 planeswalkers in play, and possibly furthering the Phyrexian infection. I'm still getting to that. Finally, Counterflux is there when you just have to say, no! Now, onto the removal. Killing Wave and Consume the Meek are there to deal with token damage. Barter and Blood is an answer to Hexproof, Shroud, and Indestructible creatures. Wife's Finale is a hard wipe, and has synergy with Cruel Ultimatum, Liliana Vess, and Beacon of Unrest. More on that one later. Molten Disaster and Comet Storm are potential win conditions and multi-target. Terminate, Wrecking Ball, and Wasteland are special case answers for regenerating creatures on land. Slave of Bolas and Treacherous Urge are my way of saying, nice creature, let me throw it at you. And they combo with Vess and Beacon of Unrest. Once I urged a Malfagor, then the next turn animated it with Beacon of Unrest. He conceded 2 turns later. Rite of Ruin I'm kinda iffy on. It's very situational, but it can get indestructible artifacts. Darksteel, anything. Mystifying Maze probably should have been in the control section, but it can kill Gave, Guru of Spores, and any of the 0/0 creatures that come into play with X +1/+1 counters. Yeah, it kills those dead. Finally, we have the alluded to Infection. Contagion, Clasp, and Contagion. With both of them in play, 8 mana is a bargain for +3 loyalty counter each to 6 planeswalkers every turn. Now onto my signature, something in all 5 Elder Dragon decks, the Cycle. First and weakest, we have the Shadowmoor almost basic land. Mad Blind Mountain is only used when I raid to Lantern an important spell, and I need it to be anywhere but the bottom of the deck. Moonring Island can be useful when I need to tell if it's safe +2 Jace instead of -1, or if I need to search with Liliana and don't know if the card is actually just on top of my deck. Sleep-Ridden Swamp is a multi-ping out of left field when I need some extra damage, but mainly those 3 are just basic lands. They're really useful with the buddy lands later, the ones that come into play tapped unless you control a specific basic land. Well, next we have my favorite cycle, the Hondas. Alone, they're cute. 1 damage, draw or discard per turn. Collect all 3 and you get a Lightning Bolt, Jace's Inspiration, and Mind Rot +1 every turn. Very, very powerful. On to the Future Sight Recurring Suspense spell. On their own, they're lackluster, but getting a Boomerang, Shock, and Cower in Fear every 3 turns can add up. Command time. Profane Command 90% of the time is just target player loses X life, -X, -X to target creature. I rarely give anything fear because I rarely have any creatures in play that need it. Sometimes I can use it to animate Evil Twin or Phyrexian Jester, but not very often. Incendiary Command is almost always basically a reverse Chandra's Outrage. 4 to you, 2 to all your creatures. Sometimes I Wheel of Fortune or destroy a land, but mainly the damage. But Cryptic Command is always used in every mode. It just depends on the situation. It's a very powerful card and one of the most powerful in the deck. Now, mixing it up a little bit, I'm going to tackle the Zeniths and Beacons together in pairs. They're all reusable and shuffle away annoying opponent deck stacking abilities like Fate Seal, and they make my Radiant Lantern a little bit better. Beacon of Destruction and Red Sun Zenith are recurring removal, usable guilt-free. I'll see them again later, so I might as well use it now. The Zenith has the added bonus of exiling its victim. Take that, Regenerate, Persist, and Undying. Black Sun Zenith is a reusable, proliferatable board wipe. Enough said. Blue Sun Zenith is there just to refill my hand, but rarely it can be used as a tutor for X, with another card coming up. Beacon of Unrest combos with all my other removal spells, and gives me extra uses out of Evil Twin. Finally, Beacon of Tomorrows is an infinite turn combo with Liliana Vess and Jace Beleren, or any other card draw spell. On to the cards that don't fit into any of the other categories. My win conditions, or at least win more. Exsanguinate and Insurrection are extra win conditions, and can end even 3+ opponent games all by themselves. Cruel Ultimatum is possibly the biggest single-player swing I have. 10 life, 2 creatures, and 6 cards is a huge advantage. The most powerful sorcery in this deck. Akum Refuge, Dwar Island Refuge, Bojuka Bog, and Hellamar Depths are utility lands. They do something other than just producing mana. The life gains from the refuges are relevant, especially if I can bounce them with the Karus. Those are coming up. Bojuka Bog deals with annoying graveyard strategies like Dredge, Reanimator, Snapcaster Mage, Hellamar Depth, that just lets me stack my deck. Tolaria West, Muddle the Mixture, Perplex, Brain Spoil, and Neitherborn Phalanx are rarely cast as seen. They're usually tutors when used with Transient. Tolaria West can get me any land. Muddle the Mixture can get me Profane Command, Terminate, or Contagion Clasp if I need single target removal, Black Sun Zenith, Comet Storm, or Cyclonic Rift if I need a board wipe, Exsanguinate or Molten Disaster if I just want to end the game, Phyrexian Negator to deal with random nonsense cards or just as a body to attack and block with. It can get Radiant Lantern if I just want to win more, or it can get me any Signet if I need mana fix. I guess I can also get Counter Squall if I want to trade one counter spell for another. Well, Perplex, that can get me Archmage's Ascension, Jace Beleren, Liliana of the Veil, Blue Sun Zenith, or Hounded of Infinite Rage, all combo pieces. It can get me Undermine or Counterflux if I need hard counters. It can get Recoil or Capsize if I need to deal with non-creature threats. And it can get me Chromatic Lanterns or the Key Ruins if I need mana fixing, or potential extra bodies with Key Ruins. Brain Spoil can get me Tameo, Chandra Nalar, Liliana Vess, Honden of Searing Wind if I need more combo pieces. It can get Incendiary Command, Festering March, and Consume the Meek if I need to get rid of a weenie horde, like Hazazon Tamar's Sand Warriors. Those are kind of annoying. It can get Arcblade, Beacon Unrest, Treacherous Urge or Slave of Bolas if I need spot damage. Neitherborn Phalanx can become Life's Finale or Contagion Engine when I need a Born wipe, or Soren Markov or Reality Strobe when I want to win more. Rheato Lantern is an anti-mill card, but more importantly, it gives me multiple uses out of all my spells when I can't ultimate cameo. Finally, we have Cast Through Time and Archmage's Ascension. Cast Through Time is a relatively new addition to the deck and is one of those win more conditions. It gives double use out of half the deck. Archmage Ascension, when it pops, turns all the card draw in the deck into tutor effects, allowing, among other things, infinite turns with Beacon of Tomorrow. And finally, we get to the mana base, cards that only produce. Dimir Aqueduct, Rakdos, and Izzet Boilerworks are the Karus I was referring to earlier. They're mild acceleration, and they combo with the Refuges, Halimar Depth, and Bojuka Blogs, allowing second triggers on any of those cards. The Vivid Lands, Dreadship Reef, and Gemstone Mine combo with all the Proliferate, rarely running out of counters. The Signets can be searched for with Muddle the Mixture, if I need mana fixing. Chromatic Lantern, same thing, it can be searched for with Flex. The 3 basic lands and the Shadowmoor lands are there for all the buddy lands, Sulphur Falls, Drowned Catacomb, and Dragonskull Summit. And finally, the Treasurehorn Sink, Underground River, and Sulphurous Springs, and the Guild Gates are there until I can get real dual lands and or shock lands. Well, that's all for now. I'll post my other Elder Dragon decks, Karn, and possibly some standard, modern, and legacy decks soon. Thank you for watching, and have a good day.